Call to order the regular council meeting of May 9th, 2016. It is 7:30 p.m. Mr. Spagman, please do the roll call.
Colella.
Here.
Dixon.
Here.
Gibbons.
Here.
Cannon.
Present.
Erickson.
Present.
Lane.
Here.
Mowry. O'Brien.
Present.
Page.
7 members are present. Please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance. Under chair announcements, an executive session of council was held on Monday, April 25th, 2016, and this evening, May 9th, 2016, to discuss personnel issues. The next item, we're going to vary from our published agenda a little bit. Mr. William McCain, the Allegheny County Manager, would like to speak to council and has some things to talk about. So, Mr. McCain.
Thank you, Mr. Hammond, members of council. I'm going to ask Andy Beck, who's with me, is our Allegheny County Parks Director, and Steve Shanley is our professional engineer, he's our Director of Public Works. He's going to hand out a visual on a project that we're working in South Park on Corrigan Drive, and we thought it would be appropriate to come and share that information with the commission and also your public and your community. The good news is it's an exciting project. Corrigan Drive is on our roads program this year. It's in great need of repair, so we are going to repave Corrigan Drive. That's the first communication I wanted to make to you. In addition to that, we are going to, and we have done some traffic counts there. And just to share some counts with you, we collected some traffic counts in the fall of 2014 and again in the summer of 15. Corrigan Drive, during those data collection, ranged from 7,200 vehicles up to 8,000 vehicles on average a day. It's actually built to be able to carry a lot more than that. We have a 4-lane highway. Our project, while we repave the road, is now going to convert it down, as you see the pictures there, to a 3-lane road. Our project is going to include a lane that goes into the park and out of the park, depending on which way you're coming from the 88 side or even on the Bronzeville Road side. And it's going to have a single lane in the middle for turning. The engineers have studied that. We think that will add safety to your park, and we're also going to add bike lanes. If you know, on the side of the ice rink, and I know you're familiar with the park, there's actually part of the road that's very underutilized. That'll be a bike lane, as you can see in the handout. It's going into the direction into the park, and then there's a bike lane coming on the other side. The specifications will have at least some painting. We're probably, based on some input actually from some of your community and other stakeholders, probably have some light rumble sticks there for some safety. Not the candlesticks, but just some rumbling on the ground, so it's a deterrent for any of the bicycle riders or the drivers. If you can envision the park now, the bicyclists are allowed to have access to the roadway, but often they're on the side of the guide rail where parents have their children with strollers or walking. So the vision would be that the bicyclists will use these 2 lanes, and then the turning lane would be in the middle of the park. I'm sure a concern is that intersection on 88 and Baptist and South Park Road is probably one of the busiest ones in your community. However, again, it can actually handle, a 3-lane highway can actually handle up to 18,000 to 20,000 vehicles per day. Corrigan Drive on the high side on our 2 data collection, one in the summer, one in the fall, only hit 8,000. So we're confident it will not complicate that intersection, will not have an unpleasant experience with the traffic being backed up. Conversely, because you do have a traffic lane when you get up to the McCormick Road, Maple Springs, that actually now, instead of waiting for someone to make that turn and you're waiting in what is now the second inside lane, actually someone will be there dedicated to turn. So it actually should keep the flow of traffic going actually more smoothly based on our engineering studies. Another reason why we're doing this is that we actually talked to the county police and we looked at some crash data. And over the 5-year period that we looked at, if you can remember where the circle is, that's where most of the crashes occur. And if you're not familiar with the park and you have the 2 lanes coming around and you're unfamiliar, you sometimes make poor judgments. You might be on the inside line and go to the outside and have a crash, or on the outside coming to the inside. So having it single all the way around actually will contribute again and reinforce the safety spirit of this project. So it is a change. We've done a lot of studying. We've been talking and looking at this for the last several years. We think that, quite frankly, that there's a lot of speeding in the park. We think that, you know, the police can't be everywhere at every time. We think that this traffic calming approach with a new roadway, you'll have it repaved there, new lines, new stripes, a turning lane, and there will be bicycle lanes, which we think will take some of the bicycles off of where they're driving now, where the guide rail is. We think it'll be a good experience for your community and all the visitors that come to the park. Safety is paramount. We want them to come and enjoy our park. We believe that when they come to South Park and any of our 9 parks, once we get them there, they'll love it and they'll come back again. So we wanted to take this opportunity and share it with you, Mr. Hanna, your public, and your commission, and that's the project that we wanted to communicate to you.
Thank you. Does anybody on council have any questions?
Yeah, I have a curiosity question, just looking at the pass out here. The bike lanes are one way, right? That's what they're, and it just seemed to me that the space allocated for the bike lanes is rather large compared to the space for the car lane, and I don't know if there's some standard.
It's up above is the grid. It's 6 foot, right? So the bike lanes are 6, and if you can see, the vehicle lanes are 10. I don't know if that helps you with the scale.
I just sort of a curiosity question whether a bike lane needs that much space since it's one way. It's not as if you'd have traffic going towards each other, and you know, I don't know whether you need the space or not, but just
I think that in talking to our engineers and the safety, that 6 is appropriate. It still allows for enough space for the vehicles to come by. And again, if there's something going on, I think that additional space allows the timing to avoid any type of accidents.
Thank you.
Yes, sir.
Jim, if I could.
Mr. Colella.
Sir, when was the project planned on starting, and how long will it take, and when do you anticipate it being finished?
That's a good question. We have the bids, anticipate awarding by the end of May. Once I have the specific notice to proceed, I'll send it to Bill Spagnola to share with you. If it's done by, if I issue a notice to proceed in the next several weeks, it's about 60 days.
Yeah.
Okay, so it'd be mid-July, it would be done.
Okay, thank you.
Everything goes well.
Thank you.
Mr. McCain?
Yes, sir.
Last question, a question for me is, we talked about how far in from the Corrigan Drive Baptist 88 corridor will this start at? And is there a distance now?
150?
Yeah, 150 feet.
It's 150 feet, and that exists today, correct?
Yeah, we'll start the project 150 feet in and 1,000 feet down from Brownsville Road.
Okay. Okay. Any other comments, questions? Thank you, gentlemen. We do appreciate you coming out.
Thank you, and honestly, Bethel Park's been a great partner with all of our activities in the park. I think when this is done and everyone gives it a chance, I think it'll actually enhance the experience for your community. Thanks so much.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
All right, let's move on to the agenda. Let's go to the library's director's report.
Good evening. My name is Christine. I'm the director of Your Public Library, where we provide services to inform, inspire, and enrich the community. Just a few things to tell you about this evening. I wanted to follow up. We always talk about our fundraisers, and I often am not very good at telling you how they've done. So the annual book sale was held at the end of April, and the library raised $2,700 from that event. And the Youth Services Department hosted an art gala fundraiser also at the end of April and raised nearly $1,000 from that event. We had a lot of pieces of artwork from the community's youth, and we posted a lot of photos on our Facebook page, so if you're interested, you can check there. Some programs to tell you about. On Monday, May 16th, this is all day. The library is hosting a memory lab where you need to make an appointment, but you can use the library's audio and video equipment to document your family's history and then store that history in an online database hosted by our state library, so family members near and far can enjoy your work. We do ask that you make an appointment, so if you're interested, please call the library. On Wednesday, May 18th at 7 p.m., Dr. Tim Campbell, who is a Bethel resident, will be at the library for a workshop on a new approach to weight loss. So he asked that you come with an open mind. He's hoping to change the way you think about food and nutrition. He lost 84 pounds in a year and thinks he can help you do the same. On Wednesday, May 18th at 2 p.m., the library is hosting a 3D printer class. You can learn about the library's Flash Forge Creator Pro 3D printer. We'll talk about the uses, the maintenance, and also you will get to see a demonstration of the CAD software that we use, which is Tinkercad. We do ask that you register as space is limited. On Thursday, May 19th at 1 o'clock and then again at 6 p.m. is the preschool block party. This is an hour-long free play session with a set of universal blocks, people, vehicles, animals, and scarves. It's for preschoolers and their caregivers, and again, we ask that you register. On Friday, May 20th at 7 p.m. is Pajama Story Time and Stuffed Animal Sleepover. Bring your favorite stuffed animal to our Pajama Story Time and then leave them there at the library for a special sleepover. Super secret cameras will catch them as they check out all the fun things to do at the library. You can come back Saturday, May 21st after 1 o'clock to pick up your animal along with a photo of their escapades. This is a really fun. Kids love this. On Wednesday, May 25th at 2 p.m., Dr. Shannon Cohen, who's a physical therapist, will be at the library for a low back pain class. She'll give a brief explanation of some of the common causes of low back pain and then lead you in some exercises that you can do at home to help. Wanted to let you know that the library will be closed on Sunday, May 29th and Monday, May 30th for Memorial Day, and then there will be no summer Sunday hours. So the library will be closed all Sundays in the summer through Labor Day. And that is all I have this evening.
Thank you very much. Next, we have the police chief's report. Chief O'Connor.
Good evening, Mayor, Council. Good evening, everyone. Chief O'Connor. We have a few announcements. First, the police department will be holding a candlelight vigil on Tuesday, May 17th at 8 p.m. in front of the police station. This will be in conjunction with Police Memorial Week. All are invited to attend. Our next Crime Watch meeting is June the 6th, 6:30 p.m. at the Community Center. All are invited to attend this also, and this will be our last one until September, as there will be no Crime Watch meetings during July or August. And lastly, I was asked to mention that the municipality of Bethel Park will be holding the annual rabies clinic Saturday, June the 4th from 10 a.m. to 12 noon at the Public Works Garage on Slater Road. You can get a rabies shot for $10. Microchipping will be offered, and along with license being available. Any questions, you can call the police department at 831-6800, extension 101 or 102. No questions? I will see you all next month. And turn this over to Fire Chief Dave.
All right. Chief Gerber.
Good evening. My name is Dave Gerber. I'm the Fire Chief of the Bethel Park Volunteer Fire Company. In the month of April, the Bethel Park Volunteer Fire Company ran 35 calls. 1 structure fire, 4 mulch/rubbish fires, 2 search and rescue details, 1 extrication, 4 natural gas leaks, 1 electrical issue, 1 power line down, 2 vehicle accident cleanups, a service call, 9 good intent calls, and 9 false alarms. As I said, totaling 35 calls. For our fundraising, if you have donated already this year, we greatly appreciate it. If you haven't and would like to, the first mailing went out. You should have got a letter at your house. If you would like to donate, and like I said, haven't yet, you can go online to do it quick and easy. You can go to our website, which is BethelParkVFC.com. Click on the donate button. It'll take you in. You can donate right there from the seat of your computer. You don't even got to worry about writing a check. So if you haven't, we'd appreciate it if you would. If you have any questions, please feel free to give us a call. We'd be more than happy to answer them for you. And then everybody's big question, the grand opening of the new fire station down here on Brightwood Road. The building's getting very close to being done. It looks beautiful down there. The grand opening is going to be Saturday, June 18th. Ceremonies will start at 10 a.m. I believe the festivities will run all day long until 4 p.m. We'll have tours of the place, some minor refreshments, cookies, things like that for you. But like I said, the place looks beautiful. We can't wait to show it off to the public. I think everybody's going to be very, very happy with it. So, with that, that's all I have. If anybody has any questions.
Chief, I have
Yes, sir.
one question. You mentioned all of the different calls that the volunteers go on. What exactly, can you explain to the public and myself what exactly a good intent call is?
Yeah, actually, I just got asked by Christine, the librarian here, about that a month or two ago. A good intent call is if somebody smells the odor of smoke, has a funny smell in their house, we get there and it's nothing. The odor of smoke was nothing. You know, sometimes people just get worried, get nervous that something's wrong. We get there, and the way the federal government and our reporting system goes, they classify it as good intent, meaning that you didn't call us out for nothing, that you thought you had something, but there was really nothing there. So there's a whole list that goes into that, but for the most part, it's you made a good intent to call because you thought there was a problem, but there really was nothing there when we got there. So, which we do all the time. I know when we go to a lot of calls like that, people get all nervous and worried and apologize 100 times, but that's what we're there for. We run 430 calls a year or so. We do that all the time, so you don't have to be worried or embarrassed. That's just part of the job. So,
Thank you.
okay.
Thanks, Chief. Next, we have the mayor's report. Mayor Allen.
Thank you. I have a few things this evening. The first one, I mentioned last month about our Parks Improvement Grant that we received. We started on our website April 12th. There's a 10-question questionnaire if you fill that out. The deadline will be June 1st. We had a meeting this evening with the people that are conducting that. They're all ears. They said they apparently have about 200 replies so far. It's also in the Bethel Park Chronicles, and you can also drop them off at the municipal building at the Community Service Department. They'll also have their first meeting, which will be held at the Community Center, which is May 19th at 7 o'clock. Even though it's only 55 degrees out, it's still time for the Bethel Park Farmers Market, which actually started last week up at St. Thomas More. It runs every Tuesday from 3 to 7, rain or shine. And I've been there when it rains, so it gets a little tough. There's about 15 new vendors this year, which will give us probably in the neighborhood of 30. It's a good, there's a lot of people there selling their wares, so if no one's been there, or if you haven't been there, I would certainly recommend it. Just to elaborate on what the chief said about the rabies clinic, which is, it also includes cats. It's a cat license. He mentioned it was $10 for the dog license. You can get a cat license for 3 years, and that's for $5. Okay, I'm glad you guys made it, but if I can have the EMS, I know barely. We have an official proclamation. EMS week is May 15th to the 21st, so Nora and her crew. And you weren't here last year, so.
I was on St. Simon's Island for Mother's Day.
I didn't ask you where you were.
I was in the general chair all day.
Oh, okay.
The island's better.
Yeah, exactly. I'm gonna, okay,
Yeah, mother's got to put it in.
in the dental chair. What I'd like to do is have an official proclamation for the municipality of Bethel Park for EMS Week, which is May 15th to the 21st. So I'd like to read this to Nora and her group. A proclamation of the municipality of Bethel Park, a home rule municipality, County of Allegheny, Commonwealth of Pennsylvania, designating the week of May 15th to the 21st, 2016, as Emergency Medical Service Week in Bethel Park. Whereas emergency medical services is a vital public service and access to quality emergency care dramatically improves the survival and recovery rate of those who experience sudden illness or injury. And whereas the members of the emergency medical services team are ready to provide compassionate, life-saving care to those in need 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. And whereas the emergency medical services system consists of the first responders, emergency medical technicians, paramedics, firefighters, educators, administrators, emergency nurses, emergency physicians, and others. And whereas the members of the emergency medical services team, both career and volunteer, engage in thousands of hours of specialized training and continuing education to enhance their life-saving skills. And whereas it is appropriate to recognize the value and the accomplishments of the emergency medical service providers, and in particular, Tri-Community South EMS Director Nora Helfrich and her dedicated and highly skilled team by designing Emergency Medical Service Week. Now therefore be it proclaimed by the municipality of Bethel Park as follows, that the week of May 15th to the 21st, 2016 is hereby designated as Emergency Medical Service Week in Bethel Park with the theme EMS Strong, Called to Care. The community is encouraged to recognize the value and accomplishments of all those involved in the Emergency Medical Service Week as a vital public service, and that the Bethel Park Municipal Council wishes to specifically recognize Tri-Community South EMS for its superior service in Bethel Park and to the entire South Hills. Adopted this 9th day of May 2016, signed by myself and Mr. Hanna. So, thank you very much.
Thank you.
I know you're never at a loss for words.
Thank you. This year we're emphasizing for EMS Week hands-only CPR. That's our emphasis, and it takes 2 minutes to learn, and it can double your chances of saving somebody's life by doing hands-only CPR. If you go to our website, tcsems.org, there's a short video that takes 2 minutes to see, and it'll teach you how to do hands-only CPR. It can double somebody's chances of surviving a cardiac arrest if you know how to do that. Also, we wanted to talk a little bit about our service. We're averaging 600 calls a month, and we're behind with our subscriptions this year where we were at the same time last year. So we're asking for the community support. Please subscribe to our system. That helps with our operating budget and helps us to continue. And also we've increased our, decreased our times for our cardiac arrest and also our heart attacks. The time we get to the person to the time they're on the table at the hospital getting a cardiac cath has averaged around 35 minutes. So we're doing very well with that statistic. We're way above the average for the national average with that statistic. Oh, also we recently received our CAS certification, which is the Committee on Accreditation of Ambulance Services. We're one of only 100-some ambulance services 104 ambulance services in the United States and the Virgin Islands and Canada that have achieved that level of certification. So we're very proud of that certification. Anything else? Okay. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
And I will say that this group of individuals is tremendous.
Thank you. Thank you.
And last, I have a special recognition to actually a person that couldn't be here today, but his family's here. So I would like to invite the Kwiatkowskis up. And I was informed at the beginning of the week exactly about what this presentation was for. Pam's son, Nick, was drafted in the 4th round by the Chicago Bears. And he'll be right behind him, except he'll be with the Steelers. So I wanted to present a certificate of recognition, and I'm sure you'll get it to Nick. It's presented to Nick Kwiatkowski, a 2011 Bethel Park graduate chosen by the Chicago Bears in the 2016 NFL Draft, awarded this day, the 9th day of May, 2016. And his grandparents are back there also. So thank you for coming.
And
that's my report.
Thank you, Mayor. Let's move to the approval of the minutes. Mr. McLean.
First item is the approval of the regular council meeting minutes of April 11, 2016. I move that we approve the regular council meeting minutes of April 11, 2016.
Second.
The motion is second to approve the regular council meeting minutes of April 11, 2016. Any discussion on this? Please, Mr. Spagnol, please call the roll.
Colella.
Yes.
Dixon.
Yes.
Givens.
Yes.
Hannon.
Yes.
Harrison.
Yes.
McLean.
Yes.
O'Brien.
Yes.
Motion passes 7-0. Mr. McLean.
Next item is bills and payrolls. I move that we approve the bills and payrolls for the municipality per bill list number 050916 in the amount of $1,012,722.23.
Second.
We have a motion and a second to approve the bills and payrolls from municipality per bill list number 050916 in the amount of $1,012,722.23. Any discussion from council? Mr. Spagnol, please call the roll.
Dixon.
Yes.
Givens.
Yes.
Hannon.
Yes.
Harrison.
Yes.
McLean.
Yes.
O'Brien.
Yes.
Colella.
Yes.
Motion passes 7-0. Next item is residents' comments for non-agenda items. Anyone in the audience would like to say something? Seeing nobody, let's move on to general policy and finance and Mr. McLean.
We have a resolution amending the project list for the 2013 Bethel Park Municipal Authority bond issue. I move that we adopt a resolution amending the project list for the 2013 Bethel Park Municipal Bond Issue in accordance with Section 5.02 of the Bond Issue Agreement.
Second.
We have a motion and a second to adopt the resolution amending the project list for the 2013 Bethel Park Municipal Bond Issue in accordance with Section 5.02 of the Bond Issue Agreement. Any discussion from council?
Mr. Hannon?
Yes.
Just to explain to the public, in 2013 we had a bond issued for work done in connection with the sewer facility, and we're required to identify the projects that the bond money can be used for. It was contemplated at the time that there could arise projects not known as of the time of the bond issue but would come along. One of those has happened. There's a digest lid replacement project that has to be done, and in order to have it authorized under the bond issue, we have to adopt a resolution adding it to the project list. That's the purpose of the motion.
Thank you, Mr. McLean. Any other discussion from council? Mr. Spagnol, please call the roll.
Givens.
Yes.
Hannon.
Yes.
Harrison.
Yes.
McLean.
Yes.
O'Brien.
Yes.
Colella.
Yes.
Dixon.
Yes.
Motion passes 7-0. Mr. Dixon, planning and zoning.
We have one item under planning and zoning tonight.
Maybe I didn't hear. Did you ask for any additional comments? Because I want to make some comments as I have want to do. Under general policy and finance, I've been doing that every meeting this year. So having said that, I express my concern about our nation, from the federal government to the local government, going on what I consider a downhill slope, not being very responsive to the citizens. And there's two items in Bethel Park here that bother me that I want to speak to. One is there's a system called Swift Reach, which is we pay an annual fee to use the system, and we can send out phone messages to the whole community or to a selected subset of the community about items. This month, Mr. Murray suggested that we ought to, well, it was suggested previously we ought to have a policy regulating that, and I agree with we ought to have a policy. But the ones that were presented to the council basically, in my opinion, restrict the useful use of that system. And no matter how much we use it, it doesn't cost any more than the annual fee that we paid. One of the things that was complained about is that in the messages that went out, since the messages involved a small section of the Fifth Ward, which I represent, that my name appeared in the message. That's a fact. So I immediately took that out, but that didn't seem to appease anybody. And so hopefully we can come up with the guidelines that will not be so restrictive that the system can't be usefully used. And then Mr. Dixon decided to chime in. He sent out an email, and he said, I think that if we are to send out these informational messages, we should stick to the germane information and skip the suggestions of activism. We should provide the information and let the residents do with this as they will. They need no urging to take action. I assume that the thing that rankled him is in the message that I had sent out. It says, attendance at the meeting that we were talking about provides an opportunity to assure that neighborhood interests are well represented. Well, I personally think that the more we can encourage people to get involved in what's going on at their local government, and in fact, the best impact they can make is come to the meetings and speak to the issues, and that seems to rankle Mr. Dixon. So I just wanted to comment on the fact that I think that we continue to burden the people with unnecessary items that, in my opinion, is not very responsive to the citizen. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Mr. Harrison. Mr. Dixon.
Okay, let's try this again. One item under planning and zoning this evening. It's a resolution, application number 2016-0127, transfer of liquor license, 301 South Hills Village. I move that we adopt the resolution approving the request of Emporio Village, LLC, for the transfer of liquor license R18262 from the municipality of Monroeville to be used at facilities located at 301 South Hills Village, Bethel Park, PA.
Second.
There's a second. There's a motion and a second to adopt a resolution approving the request of Emporio Village, LLC, for the transfer of liquor license R18262 from the municipality of Monroeville to be used at facilities located 301 South Hills Village, Bethel Park, Pennsylvania. Any discussion, Council? Mr. Spagman, please call the roll.
Cannon.
Yes.
Harrison.
Yes.
McLean.
Yes.
O'Brien.
Yes.
Colella.
Yes.
Dixon.
Yes.
Gibbons.
Yes.
Motion passes 7-0. Any additional items under planning and zoning? No. Next is health, safety, and welfare. Mr. O'Brien, will you take that?
Yes. Mr. Tannen, there are no items under health, safety, and welfare.
Any additional items from council?
Yes, I have a few.
Mr. O'Brien.
You know, Election Day is it just passed, and it's an opportunity for elected officials like ourselves to meet with our constituents, find out issues and problems that be resolved. But it also is a time to to find out about things that aren't as pleasant, like some of your constituents who passed during the time before the election. You may have missed it in the paper, or you just didn't get the information. And in my ward this time, I lost two very, very unique individuals, and I just thought I'd share both of them with you. One man was named Mr. Gothi. What a wonderful guy. I've known him for a very long time. Lived on Irish Town, involved in the fire department. He just had a great spirit about him, a steam fitter. Him and his friend, Mr. Shindaheny, who's gone now too, they had a banter that was just golden. You look forward to me seeing them on election day, and I truly would miss him, and I hope his family finds a way to get through the loss of just a great man. The other is John Rogers. John spent many time at this microphone. I called him the unofficial official mayor of Logan Road. He called it Mr. Rogers' neighborhood. John had great faith in people, and he had great passion for Bethel Park, his neighbors, and his community all the way around him. John was one of the people affected by the floods of Logan Road, and he had great faith in the staff and this council, in myself, and John Marr, and in Tim Murphy, that we would really work at solving the problem. And fortunately, we did find a solution, and he was very grateful. Even in his upper 80s, he was right there for the development of Logan School. He wanted to make sure everything was right, and he even got a brick, and he passed last week. So I will miss Mr. Rogers, and I hope his wife Lois and his daughter find a way to find a way to missing him in this great time of need. Also, this month is it's May, and it's Merchant Marine Month. We had three great people that we remember, Merchant Marines in our town: Augie Pace, Bill Hosa, and Brooks Bebout. They would be very proud to see all the Merchant Marine flags flying for May. And Memorial Day is coming. Our Memorial Day service at the memorial will be at 7:50 a.m. Our guest speaker will be Lieutenant Pete Edwards, P-51 pilot of World War II. He is the owner of Brookside Lumber. We're very excited. He's coming back from Florida to be our guest speaker, and we're looking forward to a great day. Now, the quest for Joseph Chmielewski. I talked about it before. This has been a great journey. Joseph's information, like Joseph, was very quiet about his information, his service to his country, and the records are very, very quiet and elusive also. But through the work of Tim Murphy's office and Devin Robinson and a lovely lady named Miss Johns in St. Louis in the archives, they seem to have located it. I don't have the information in front of me. Tim, the congressman, will get the information first. We're all anxiously awaiting to see, what his service to the country is. Her comments to me were, "You'll be pleased," although she couldn't share it with me. But what a mystery. We finally found Joseph Chmielewski's military record, and we should have it before Memorial Day. I'd like to say thank you to Paul Henny's Funeral Home and private donations for sending in money to help with the cost of Joseph's paver on Memorial Day. And I'd like to take a personal thanks to Bill and Judy and Tim and Jimmy McLean and Chief O'Connor and Jimmy Hannon and Michelle and Kat and all the people that have really helped me with this. But the lady that needs the most attention is Kathy Lordi. She's my right hand, and she really keeps all the information, and her passion to help with this is wonderful. And I'm very honored that everyone wants to help. And we're going to remember a man who, 66 years ago, he lost his life in service to this community. So Memorial Day will be a day we can remember Timothy O'Connor. And I've received a lot of information. Not Timothy O'Connor. We remember Joseph Chmielewski. We always remember Timothy. He always makes it. You always know where he is. Many of Joseph Chmielewski's relatives are going to make the trip in for the day. Some from out of town, some from here right in town. And they're pretty excited. And apparently they even found a picture of Joe in his military uniform. So they're going to bring it with them. So that's all I have, Mr. Hannon.
Thank you, Mr. O'Brien.
I guess the rumors of Chief O'Connor's demise have been greatly exaggerated. Chief, I would like to ask you a question. What is the date of the service at the police memorial here?
17th, Tuesday, 17th.
Tuesday the 17th, at what time?
8 p.m. we're going to start warming up.
Okay. Thank you for that. If I'm not mistaken, this is National Police Week, isn't it?
Yes, we're going to be doing that in conjunction
With National Police Week. Yeah, this is a special time in the United States where we honor our men and women in uniform, and it is a very special time because of what you do to protect us. I can tell you from personal experience that it's a dangerous job. Every time a police officer puts on that uniform, they hug their families tight because they never know if they're coming home that night. So I would urge everybody in the community to say thank you to the police next time you see them. Don't be afraid to walk up and shake their hand and say thank you. These brave men and women walk the thin blue line that protects us from those who would prey upon us, and we owe them a debt of gratitude. So thank you, Chief. Thank you to everybody in your department.
Here, here.
Mr. Hannon.
Mr.
I just want to mention one other item that I tend to speak to quite often. Mr. O'Brien mentioned the primary election day this month, and I always like to remind people that the primary is a party nomination process. It's not an election. And I just point out, I'm sensitive that a lot of the news media now are just referring to it as a primary and not primary election. And it's sort of a mundane thing, except we had a little to do here in Bethel Park over what the Home Rule Charter says about the primary. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Mr. Harrison. Next, we go to Public Works and Maintenance, and Ms. Gibbons.
Resolution RAAC application for the municipal building renovation project. I move that we adopt a resolution authorizing the filing of an application to RAAC for the municipal building renovation project.
Second.
We have a motion and a second to adopt a resolution authorizing the filing of an application to RAAC for the municipal building renovation project. Any discussion from council?
Mr.
Harrison.
Why don't we get the engineer to tell us what RAAC means? Maybe you don't.
It's the
Redevelopment Authority of Allegheny County.
yeah, it's the redevelopment authority of Allegheny County.
Okay, very good. Thank you very much.
All righty. Mr. Spagno, please call the roll.
Hannon?
Yes.
Harrison?
Yes.
McLean?
Yes.
O'Brien?
Yes.
Colella?
Yes.
Dixon?
Yes.
Gibbons?
Yes?
Motion passes 7-0. Any further items under Public Works and Maintenance?
Yes, one additional item.
Yes, as part of the Pennsylvania Department of Environmental Protection's requirements for the municipality with their MS4 stormwater permit, the DEP has notified Bethel Park that the Brush Run watershed has additional requirements regarding stormwater discharges related to the sediment and nutrient levels. Bethel Park is required to submit a total maximum daily load TMDL strategy plan for the Brush Run watershed. The strategy plan will outline the steps to be taken to reduce sediment, phosphorus, and nitrogen levels into Brush Run. The discharges to be removed may include dirt, leaves, garbage, litter, fertilizer, wet pet waste, pesticides, motor oil, and other dangerous chemicals. The DEP requires public participation in the preparation of the TMDL plan by advertising the plan in a newspaper of general circulation and at a regularly scheduled municipal meeting. The TMDL plan was advertised in the Pittsburgh Post-Gazette, accepting public comments for a period of 30 days. A copy of the TMDL plan is also available at the Bethel Park Library for review and comment by the public. The council formally accepts public comment for the TMDL plan tonight. Any comments will be put into public record. All public comments will be submitted with the TMDL strategy plan to the DEP. Any additional public comments received prior to May 16th will also be transmitted along with the municipality's final submission. The municipality will be submitting the final plan to the DEP by May 31st of 2016. This is similar to what we did with the Sawmill Run watershed last year, but the DEP now has determined that Brush Run watershed has to follow the same rules for the TMDL plan.
Question for you.
Yes.
We're not the only community in the Brush Run watershed.
No. Upper
So-
St. Clair Township and Peters Township both also have to do
Are we
a
submitting a
TM.
coordinated plan, or is it everybody's?
No, this is everybody's on their own.
Okay, thank you. Any discussion or council? Motion to adjourn? All in favor?
Aye.
Good night, everybody.
Hi, my name is John Bauer. I'm a paramedic supervisor with Tri-Community South EMS. Tri-Community South Emergency Medical Services is a professional organization comprised of highly skilled paramedics and emergency medical technicians. Tri-Community South EMS functions separately from your local police or fire departments. Our staff is trained to respond to not only medical emergencies, but also the active shooter, school and bioterrorism incidents, mass casualties, terrorist attacks, natural disasters, and communicable disease outbreaks. We respond daily to cardiac arrests, heart attacks, strokes, motor vehicle crashes, falls, and mental health emergencies. Make no mistake, our assistance is also called upon for other emergencies, such as toothaches, cut fingers, and bee stings. This year, EMS Week will be celebrated the week of May 15th. Our theme for this annual event is EMS Strong, Called to Care. We at Tri-Community South EMS are called to care over 7,000 times a year, often under arduous circumstances. We are proud of the role we play in the health and safety of the residents of Bethel Park, South Park, and Upper St. Clair. We are also thankful to have the opportunity of providing service to our three communities for over 30 years. With this in mind, won't you please take a few minutes to support our service with a $60 subscription donation, which will enable us to continue to serve you and future generations for another 30 years. For more information about Tri-Community South EMS, visit tcsems.org.